Hi guys, it's Taylor. Welcome back or to my channel if you're new here. For today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys how I edit my Instagram photos. I've had a lot of requests recently for this video, so I thought I would put it out for you guys. I add all of your guys' video requests to a list and kind of filter through what works for me and my channel. So if you have any requests that you want to see on my channel for the future, you can leave a comment down below and I will add it to my list. But yeah, let's just jump into the video. 3 different apps to edit my Instagram photos. I use Lightroom for the base edits, and then I use 4. Yeah, I use Lightroom for my base edits, then I go into color tone to add a preset onto it, and then I go into Afterlight to add the dust effect, and then I use Kunicam sometimes. We're gonna start off with Lightroom. So I'm just gonna grab a random photo for my camera roll to kind of show you guys an example of me editing. So let's just grab this one of me at the pumpkin patch. So I basically just one day sat down in Lightroom and added a bunch of, I'm gonna turn my mode on so no one interrupts it. I basically just sat down in Lightroom one day and just played around with all of the different effects to see what looked best on my photos and what I like. But if I had to describe my Instagram photos, I'll have a bunch of photos on the screen here if you guys are wondering what my feed looks like. But it's very natural but vintage with some pops of pink and brown. That's how I would describe my Instagram feed. So if you guys have presets saved, you just scroll all the way to the right and there will be a preset button there. And I have a bunch of different ones. I'll just kind of like show you. I have a bright one. I just named them random shit. I have natural, new, pink, pink less, regular, and this. So the one that I use every single time is natural, and just kind of walk you guys through all of the different edits that I have on it. This is just the base edit, so it's just kind of enhancing the lighting and fixing any imperfections within the photo. So I'm just gonna go through the effects that I have touched. I'm not gonna go over just like all the random stuff that says 0 on it. So I have exposure plus 17, contrast -4, highlights -3, shadows -4, whites +3, blacks +1. And then I move on to the color, and I have the temperature up 2%, the tint up 5%, the vibrance up 4, and saturation up 5. So the light effect was kind of touching on the lighting in it, so like the exposure and the black and white colors, and then the color effect is touching on all of the different colors that aren't the light, if that makes sense. So the temperature would be the yellow and orange tones or not. The tint would be like pink or green, and the vibrance is kind of like the reds and yellows, same with the saturation. But I just kind of played around with, like I said, one of my photos and figured out what I like the best. It is a lot of trial and error, but obviously you guys can like write these down or put it into one of your photos to see if you like it and switch anything up depending on how you like the photo. So I mostly just add the preset onto every single photo and I don't generally touch it, but if it looks weird, I'll go into each individual effect that I have added on it to just see what looks the best. But I generally don't really touch anything. I just find it works for most photos because it's such a basic light edit. So that's it for the first kind of page of the color, but I'm gonna go into the color mix. So that's like the colorful wheel at the top right. So this is where it gets pretty intense for your edits, and this is the more advanced version of Lightroom, and this is why most people love Lightroom, because this is what makes it different from any other editing app. So this, you can see there's like red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark bluey, violet, and then a purple and pink. So you can go into each individual color and adjust all of the colors within the photo. So you can kind of take away colors that you don't want and enhance the colors that you really like in your photos. Firstly, I just touch on the red and I turn the hue up to 4, saturation up to 5, and the luminance up to 5. And then for the orange, I turn the hue down to -4, saturation up to 8, and the luminance down 5. For the yellow, I don't want any yellows in my photo. I'm not a fan of it, so I kind of just get rid of everything. So I do -11 for the hue, -18 for saturation, and -8 for the luminance. And then I don't touch the green and I don't touch any of the blues. And then we get into the purple color, and I really like my photos to be kind of like reddy, orangey, pinky toned. So for the purple, I turn the hue up to 14, saturation up 10, luminance up 16. And then for the pink, I turn the hue up to 19, saturation up to 13, and luminance up to 19. So I'm gonna hold it to show you guys the before and after. So this is it with the edits, and then that is it without edits. So there's a lot of different effects added onto the photo, but it didn't really drastically change the photo that much. It just fixed the lighting and adjusted all of the colors that I want to pop in each photo. So that is why I would describe it as the base edit, because that is the starting block of Instagram edits. So I'm just gonna save it from the middle button at the top right, export to camera roll, and it's saved. So the second app that I use is called Color Tone. I'm so obsessed with this app. You guys will see why because of the presets, but I'm just gonna add the photo in that I edited. Let me just find it. I believe it's that one. And then click on it, click on edit from the bottom left, and there you go. Click on the filters on the bottom left as well. So as you can see, there's a bunch of different edits. I believe I paid to open up more because Maldives is the one that I use, and everybody was talking about it on TikTok, and I was using it before that, and I think the app kind of realized how much money they could be making because everybody was using the preset, so then they added it to a package where you have to buy it. I think it was like $2 or something, but I just bought it because I literally can't live without it, and I put the edit on all of my Instagram photos. It's very orange and brown and kind of sucks out the blues, which is what I don't really like. So that's why I'm obsessed with it. I don't leave it at 100%, but I mean, you totally could. I just am personally not a fan of really intense edits on Instagram photos. I just really like natural photos. So I'm gonna click on that, and it'll take you to the percentage of intensity you want of that preset on your photo. Generally keep mine between 30 and 50 depending on the photo. I find 40 is the sweet spot because it's right in between 30 and 50. So there's the before and there's the after. It just kind of makes me look more tan and brings out the browns and oranges and pinks. And I'll just export that to my camera roll. So after color tone, I go into Afterlight, and I only use Afterlight for one thing. It's to add the dust effect on my Instagram photos. So this is the one thing that I would say makes my photos look very vintage. It's because it adds that like retro grain film effect onto the photos. So you can barely see in this photo, but I'll put up some photos right here from my Instagram that you can really see the grain effect on. Makes the photo look so cute and kind of like hides your imperfections too. I find for me specifically, because I have a little bit of unevenness in my skin from acne scars, where if you add that dust effect, it kind of hides it a little bit, and you don't need to go into Facetune and like completely smooth your face. But yeah, I usually stick with 1 or 3. They are very similar, but I just kind of click on both to look at the placement of the white dots and just see which one looks better. This one you can't like literally see it at all. Like you can kind of see it on the pumpkins, but I usually like 1, so I'm gonna go with 1. So those are the edits I do on every single Instagram photo. But if you guys follow me on Instagram, you would notice that some of my photos have a vintage date effect on it. So I only do this for the photos I cherish on my Instagram that I think would look really good with the vintage date effect. So I'll put some photos on the screen here of what I'm talking about, but I do that through the app Cam. This app is so freaking cool. I'm pretty sure you can do a bunch of other stuff too, but I just use it for the date effect. I have the photo here, and I'm gonna click edit so you can see like the calendar date button at the bottom right, and just click on the AA and a date will show up at the bottom left corner. It's kind of hard to see in this photo, but it is there. But if you don't like it in that specific spot, you just click the button at the far right and you can switch it from the bottom left corner to the bottom right up to the top right. Not only can you move it in different places in your photo, you can also change the color and effect of the date. So if you just click on the AA again, as you can see, it turned to like a whitey yellow color, and it turned to a white one. They have a red color, and it goes back to the kind of the orange digital clocked effect. I normally go with that one or the orange one here. Just depends on how it looks with each photo, but I say for this photo, I would probably use the orange one just because you can see it a little bit more. Really like mine in the bottom left corner. I think it looks the most like a vintage film photo. For all my photos, I also crop them to a specific dimension. So I just click on edit in my camera roll, and I click on the cropping button in the middle, but the far right one. And then I click the edit cropped button at the top right, and then I go into 810. This is the one that I always use because that's the Instagram photo dimension. So you don't have to like crop your photos when you go into Instagram. It's already at the perfect size when you hit the button for it to like push out to the full size. You can see there's like the pumpkin in the bottom right, but it doesn't look too good in the photo. So we're just gonna get rid of that. There you go. It's ready for Instagram. So that is everything I do to edit my Instagram photo. So like I said, I do everything but the Kuni Cam for every single photo, and then I use Kuni Cam for only certain photos on my Instagram. For this one, I probably wouldn't use it because it's really hard to see on the photo, but if I really like a photo and I think it would look good, I add it to the photo. If I'm doing like a selfie, the only thing that I would do that I didn't show in this video is, here, I'll just kind of like briefly show you guys what I would do. So, say I took a selfie like I just did, I'll go into Facetune and I will smooth my skin. So I briefly talked about that before, but I'll just go into the smooth effect and just kind of go in my T-zone a bit and on my cheeks a little bit. I just do a little bit, not a lot, like that's literally just it. You can barely tell, but it does make a little bit of difference. It just leaves a smooth canvas for the Instagram edits. And I use Facetune before I go in and add any of the effects. So this would be the first thing that I do before I go into Lightroom, Color Tone, Afterlight, and Kuni Cam. All right, so that is gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed me explaining how I edit my Instagram photos. If you guys have any other video suggestions, you can always leave them down below and I'll add them to a list. If you're not following my Instagram, make sure to go do that. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment to support me and my channel. Your guys' engagement really helps my videos get out there and I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.